Hey, before we get started, I'd just like to remind you that we are in the final days of the charity drive.
You only have until this Friday to participate. Donate to a charity that benefits children. Send proof of that donation to joechristmascharity@gmail.com for a chance to win prizes and to unlock bonus videos for everybody.
So, if you're the kind of person that likes to leave things till the last minute, now is your time to shine! Well, thanks for watching everybody, and let's get on with the show! Hey, welcome to Half the Battle! Today, we're talking about a character who's just crazy! Well, actually, no, he isn't, but I couldn't really come up with a better intro.
Meet Crazylegs. This figure was released in 1987 with all original body parts. And,
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Look, strictly on its own, I wouldn't call this such a bad figure, but that's without any context, and this needs like all of the context. You see, he's a paratrooper, meaning he gets dropped behind enemy lines, and he does it dressed like that. He might as well be wearing a neon bullseye on his chest. Compare and contrast this with the previous guys with parachutes, like Airborne and Ripcord. Now they are dressed sensibly, not like they are part of a circus. Honestly, for some reason, the whole look of the figure makes me think of a red balloon, probably partially due to the helmet.
It's a pity because the mold is actually pretty decent.
The red parts resemble a special texture that I'm sure is appropriate for skydiving. The rest of the detailing is, detailed too, like small pouches on his legs and arms, long before Rob Liefeld ruined that aesthetic for everybody.
He came with 2 accessories.
A gun that has a removable stock, to the frustration of every collector out there, because man is that thing easy to lose. He also has a non-working parachute pack that's completely made of soft rubbery plastic. I suppose that's an appropriate accessory and all, but it does make him look like he's wearing one of those front-end baby bags. Overall, this figure is a bit of a disappointment. But is this all down to the colors? Would a different color scheme improve things?
Well, we can find out because Crazylegs got a second figure in the original line in different colors.
Meet Night Force Crazylegs. This figure was released in 1988 with obviously no original body parts. And, yarp, what a difference a color scheme makes. Night Force was a Toys R Us exclusive line of repainted figures and vehicles, and it was famous for getting color schemes right. Well, on figures anyway. For the vehicles, they thought they needed a touch of bright orange on them. The olive drab makes him look more military, and the black is useful if you are somebody who gets dropped behind enemy lines. And they even gave him more detailing, as the pouch on his right leg is painted, unlike the original. Same goes for the belt buckle. And this was just 1 year after the first one came out. That's a lot of improvement on such a short time scale. Yeah, this version sold me on Crazylegs.
It's that much of a step up.
He also got a figure in the modern line in 2011 with no original body parts. And given that this toy was completely Frankenstein from other figures, his torso is from a Snake Eyes figure for example, it's impressive they managed to make it look convincingly like Crazylegs. Also, the red on the color scheme is more subdued, so it looks a lot better.
The figure is fine.
I would have preferred an updated Night Force version, but they saved that for a damn convention exclusive. The only thing that stands out in a bad way is he's got this blank stare. His whole face is expressionless. That's probably because the head was originally a Zartan in disguise head, so a rubber mask.
Finally, the helmet is removable.
And it looks great. Not too big, not too small. I'm actually not that bothered that the original figures had a molded-on helmet, as making it an accessory in 1987 would have looked goofy. And those were the toys. Overall, my favorite is the Night Force version, followed by the modern one. The original, well, it just looks weird and stupid.
With that, it's time to move on to the character, starting with the file card.
And first of all, let's talk about the name. I assumed Crazylegs was some obscure term related to skydiving and or the military, but I couldn't really find anything. Well, I did find a vague reference to it sometimes maybe being a nickname for skydivers, but the first result I got talked about restless leg syndrome, and the second was the name of the most successful member of the Rocksteady crew.
Hey, you, the Rocksteady crew, show what you do, make a break, make a move. Hey, you, the Rocksteady crew, B-boys breakers and let you boogaloo.
Yeah, those guys.
So I don't really know what to tell ya. Hell, for all I know, this guy just flails his legs around in a stupid way while parachuting. Or he's part of the Ministry of Silly Walks, whatever.
Secondly, let's talk about the name. His real name this time, I mean.
It's David O. Thomas, and that's based on a real person, David Thomas Roberts, who's a famous composer. What's weird is that his third file card, the one from the 2011 Pursuit of Cobra line, has his name as Oliver D. Thomas. So they swapped out his middle name for his first one. Also, he looks really pissed off in that file card for some reason.
Anyway, there's a reason he's named after a composer.
Crazylegs is a keen organist and could have been a pro if his fingers hadn't been too short. He still loves classical music, though that's not really useful as an airborne ranger. Unfortunately, he's very good at that too, though he'll be humming Bach when doing it. The Night Force file card adds that it's his job to provide cover fire for a retreat. The third file card adds nothing except for that weird name-swapping thing.
As far as the cartoons go, well, Crazylegs wasn't in any of them.
There's no reason he couldn't have been put in G.I. Joe the movie, since the character is from 1987 after all, but they didn't do that. Needed that screen time for frickin' Big Lob, I guess. He was, however, featured in the comics. He is introduced in issue 69.
Nice.
But he doesn't do much there. In the next two issues, he does get a chance to shine, by saving the life of a little kid that's been caught up in the Joe's wacky adventures. He's even on the cover of one issue, and seems to develop a friendship with the Dreadnought Thrasher.
Unfortunately, his last appearance is his last appearance.
What I mean is that he's one of the Joes that got killed in the Trucial Abysmia story, where a surprising number of Joes died. He was on a vehicle that got hit and exploded, and sadly, he wasn't one of the few survivors.
Hey, wait a minute.
Could that be why they changed his name slightly for the 2011 toy? Like maybe Oliver is David's identical twin brother who's also into classical music? Granted, that sounds far too much like a soap opera, but hey, it could have happened. By the way, the comic never mentions the classical music thing, so that's limited to the file cards. And that was Crazylegs. A great figure, an okay figure, and an ugly one. In the comic, he showed up, did one good thing, and then promptly died. I guess that's all we could really expect from a minor character like this. Overall, yeah, he did okay.
Well, December is upon us, and you know what that means.
Winter's coming.
But before that, next weekend you'll get an extra video. It will be the result show of that charity drive. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing.